Hey Austin, Liz King here, and today we're talking the good, bad, and ugly of selling off market. I have a home that is about to close that we just went off, it was off market in Northwest Hills. I have a different one in Northwest Hills that we may try to sell off market. And so I have buyers, I have sellers who are kind of interested in, what does this mean for me? And let's talk a little bit about how it benefits people, how it can kind of work against them too. So obviously, let's start with this kind of broad picture of like a treasure hunt. Like there's this feeling of like, ooh, I know about something that other people don't. And so it feels exclusive. It feels like special for me. And there's a psychological piece to that feels like there's this resource that I have access to that not everyone has access to. So I think that for buyers, it feels really exciting. For sellers, the nice thing is that the house, doesn't go to the MLS and doesn't get pushed quite as wide. Maybe there are less showings that have to happen. So it's a little less disruptive. So those are kind of some of the nice pieces of off-market selling. There's also, as an agent, there's this perception of like, well, I have this, I have access to this resource that other people don't have access to. So while there are many off-market places that a house could be listed, it's not something that the public can automatically see. So there can be some benefits to working with an agent who is connected into some of these off-market networks. As a buyer, if you're buying off-market, there is this kind of wonderful benefit that it doesn't get put into the MLS, and so there's less likelihood of the taxing authority finding out your purchase price. And so there's the potential that when you purchase the house, your taxes will end up being lower than they would be if it went onto the MLS. Now, theoretically, the taxing authority is not supposed to have access to closed prices. That being said, there have been lawsuits recently, in the past 5 years where the taxing authorities get sued because they are somehow gaining access to the MLS data. So can it happen? Surely. So if a property sells off market, there's less ability for anyone to find out that final closed price. And so there is the chance that the taxes on the property are going to be lower just based on lack of information. So that's huge. And there is value to that. And realistically, if a property is being sold off market, it also should potentially sell. There's a likelihood that it'll sell at a premium because there's going to be this tax benefit on the back end. So then the question is, will a seller net more being off market? Maybe yes, maybe no. Yes, if it's kind of priced competitively enough to bring in some interest and sells quickly, you have a chance of getting a pretty nice sales price out of the property. And because again, it's that feeling of it's something that's exclusive and not everyone has access to it. So maybe buyers are willing to pay a little more to lock it down. That being said, without pushing a property on the MLS, you target buyers who are around the world. You target people in New York and California and relocating from Minnesota, and you target a much wider audience being in the MLS. And so when a property is listed in these off-market channels, it doesn't have the reach. So when you want the most people competing for your property, that's when potentially you want to be in the MLS to give the most people a chance at it, because that has the potential of driving up the price of the property as well. So off-market buying can be kind of an interesting option. I definitely think it's worth considering off-market properties as you are trying to buy a property, or potentially as you're trying to sell a property, but just know that they're not necessarily going to be a deal. In fact, it might be sort of at a premium to, because you had access before everyone else had access. So if you need help and guidance through this process, if you want to talk about the ins, the outs, the benefits, the disadvantages, reach out. I would love to help you put down your Texas roots.